there's no point of connection for that. But on the flip side, when we use too many human elements to try to describe who God is and how God works in our lives, we can fall into the trap of making God too human. Basically making him like a superhero. He's not really God, he's just like a human, but like with extra powers. And some of those characteristics that we can get, if you think of superheroes in movies and stuff, some of those characteristics can be really harmful if we apply those to who God is. So now we're going to kind of look at deconstructing those characteristics of God that are really toxic in our relationship with him.
Okay, that was some deep stuff, huh? Everybody feeling good from that? It's like philosophy coffee or something. Let's make that word up. I should incorporate that into our group name that has the name yet. Yes, the non-Bible Bible study, our young adult group. That's what we were talking about, by the way. That's kind of how this talk started and evolved into not really a sermon. I want this to be more of a discussion, I guess, like a human kind of talk. So the kind of conclusion that I got from Krishnamurti, who's one of my favorite thinkers of all time next to Jesus, is that it really doesn't matter what our image is. If you think about it, over in India, they have a bunch of blue gods or elephant gods, and other parts of the world, they have gods that are, Poseidon's in the water, and, Hermes runs really fast. I mean, all these gods have, like, little attributes that people sort of project, I think, from their own experiences onto these gods. And I think it's important for us to realize, just really quickly, can everybody show, like, their picture of God that they drew? No, nobody's going to judge you over your art.
Got two. Yeah. Mine is amorphous.
Let's see, Gwen, you did a very good drawing.
Well, I did this one, and then I did another one.
Uh-oh, okay.
But I always thought him like Oz, like the first thing you had to imagine, like you'd superpower coming out of his brain. That's good.
Okay, I just wanted to do that, I guess just to take into account how many of us were drawing kind of like an old man, which I think is very interesting. I mean, have you ever considered that? Like that thought? I was really bored with that. A lot of you have flowers. I saw Brie had a flower. A couple of you had like a wind and some other symbols and stuff. But the majority of the room, and I'm finding this consistently, even in kids and any group I talk to, it's always an old, generally a white guy who's in the clouds, living in the clouds, shooting lightning at people that he doesn't like, people that are sinning, and it's a very, very consistent common practice. And it's like that idea of an old white guy wasn't, you weren't born with that, right? I mean, that's not like a natural thing that like humans just develop at the age of 3, like all of a sudden like a bar mitzvah or something that just pops in your head. I mean, this is clearly given to you by somebody else. So that was kind of where we wanted to go with that. So it tells us that our concept of God is conditioned. Can everybody say conditioned?
Conditioned.
Love that word. My favorite. It tells us that everybody's concept is conditioned. I would say most people's, at least in this room, at least over half of our ideas were conditioned as children. So I think it's very interesting. Which leads us to our next point, the word God, which we're about to go into. Okay, so we have our exhibit right here. We're going to start at the top. So with our English word, God. Does everybody read my handwriting? Two guys today. It's way worse. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Should we back a little bit, Lisa? Oh yeah, Corey said I should use the lightsaber today. So. Thank you, Corey. All right, so God, this is our English word, right?
Yes.
The word God, we're all very familiar with that. I think we're kind of bored with that idea that, the word God is God's actual name, but we don't really know where it came from, do we? Does anybody know where it came from? Besides anybody who studied Richard Rohr, I guess, a couple times.
Old English?
Old English? Okay, yes, no Old English word, but it's a root word. I want to get to the root, the etymology.
Well, I learned from you, so I'll just let you say it.
You can do the surprise for me. I'm more than okay with that.
No, that's okay.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Well, I appreciate that. All right, so we got God over here. This is English. It came from the word deus from Latin, right? Deus, has anybody ever heard that word before?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go from deus to this word. I wonder what that letter is right here. So we got E-U-S, E-U-S. So clearly these are pretty similar, right? Deus comes from the Greek word
Zeus.
Zeus. Thank you. Yes, there we go.
Yep.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So every time we're saying God, what are we actually saying? Zeus. And who does it look like when we're this picture of Zeus? An old white guy, exactly, in the clouds, who's shooting lightning at people and destroying towns for
A living.
having a gay marriage or something. I don't know. It's these days, but essentially this guy, right? I don't know. I'm kind of sick of this image. It's kind of small, but you know, you can all see it. Anybody know where this is from? Yes. Exactly. So I think we're trying to deconstruct ideas today about who this God is and how we got all these ideas and how indoctrinated I think we've been with all these concepts. So I mean, if our image of God has been indoctrinated by culture, by people around us, and our word God, like what does that tell us about our beliefs of God too, right? Like at least the majority of them. A lot of people thinking that God's gonna like destroy a town or something over, you know, whatever they're doing in that town. I mean, that just doesn't really fit, because most of those people saying that don't even know that the word God came from Zeus in the first place. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just important, I think, to get back to our history. All right? So I think we've created a toxic Zeus-like God, right? Kind of like Santa Claus, too, we were talking about, right? Santa's nice, but he also knows, he gives cold to people, too, right? Which could be the equivalent of hell. Okay?
If you live somewhere cold, that's good.
One of those stories is that the poor can help the poor heat up their houses.
I did not know that. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it just evolved into a reward punishment system, which is kind of sad.
Well, that's capitalism.
That's capitalism. Thank you, Kenny. Exactly. Yes. Amen. Amen to that. But you know, God knows when you're naughty. He knows when you're nice. He knows if you've been bad or good, etc. You know the rest. And then you know, it kind of looks like God too. I don't know. It's kind of weird. He's like this, you know, guy that nobody sees until until you find out that he doesn't actually exist, which is what we're trying to do today. Get rid of this God. That's not to say that God doesn't exist, right? But like we're trying to get rid of these ideas, I think, that are kind of hindering us from the reality of what God is, which is so much bigger. You know, it can't even be described. I'm not explaining any of it right now. That's why I'm just deconstructing. All right, so he's kind of hyper-masculine, controlling, condemning earthly things and experiences, so that you must rely exclusively on the church, right? And just kind of waiting to send you to hell to mess up your life. He's waiting for you to sin. You know, if you stub your toe, it's like, God, what was that for? I mean, all these ideas, you know, they aren't actually real. So I wanted to do a small little meditation. I just want you to think about what voices or opinions you've heard. What are you hearing? What are you internalizing? What have you internalized? What poisonous, toxic ideas about spirituality and God have you taken in over the years? That God hates a certain group of people, whatever it might be. Just kind of close your eyes for a second and maybe think about your past. Think about how much conditioning has hit you when it comes to what this reality is, to what the infinite is, to what love is. Okay, everybody feeling good? Is anybody feeling really inspired just now?
I'm in heaven.
Matthew,
So,
yeah.
I feel good.
Thank you, Mark. Awesome. All right, so we are going to do something really fun now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the greatest hell-defying feat in history, maybe. All right, we're going to defy hell, or at least I'm going to. I can go to hell, so I think everybody should be relatively comfortable with what we're about to do, all right? But in certain places, this could have been gotten us excommunicated, fired. I think at the last church I was working at, I would have been fired for the next thing I'm about to do. Or possibly killed. We're going to burn God. Ooh.
To make him into the burning bush.
Pretty much. Is anybody feeling comfortable right now?
Maybe you could say burn our crummy concept of God.
Burn our crummy, that's exactly right. That's what we're trying to get to, right? Because obviously if we burn a picture of God, does God disappear? No. That'd be a pretty weak God, wouldn't it? I mean, that'd be pretty pathetic as far as I'm concerned. Is anybody feeling uncomfortable with this concept? Like, I'd like to get a show of hands.
Let's burn God.
There we go. Amen, brother. Amen. Does anybody want to do it for me?
Okay.
Come on up, brother. That's right. That's right.
Pyromaniac.
Let's do it, Corey.
Excuse me?
And let's do it like over the altar. We're gonna sacrifice the God of sacrifices. It's kind of ironic, I guess. All right, brother, hold that up. Just try not to burn yourself. Kind of keep.
What are we going to do with the ashes?
We're burning Zeus essentially right now, right? I don't think God's gonna be pissed. I think God's gonna be more, hopefully, kind of excited that we're doing something like this, getting rid of these toxic ideas, getting rid of a toxic God that isn't God. Woo, yeah. Burn.
Stubborn.
Yeah. No, don't get rid of it.
Guess God doesn't burn as easy as we thought.
All Catholics
He's going to make a fight. Yeah, exactly. Martha well said, yes.
Yeah, all
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a tattoo.
It's not a real sacrifice if you don't burn yourself.
We're doing a lot of cool things in church this week. I just wanted to show everybody I got a tattoo on Friday here.
What?
Let me see it.
One of our guests had a tattoo, stab and
Oh, it's the
needle
fish.
kind of thing. Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of heresy this week. It's been a good time. Oh, this is actually Dave. Dave, thank you for the lighter. Thank you for being part of this experience. Appreciate it. So, how you all feeling after that?
Much better.
Oh, we're getting rid of this like white, toxic,
Not
old
when it
man.
takes like that. Be like, I just burned God.
That's what I've been telling people all weekend, so we're about to burn God. But of course, you know, if God stopped existing, the idea would be that nothing would exist anymore. So clearly, you know, I don't think that we did anything. I like to think that whatever God is, this, you know, this love, this spirit, I kind of like those words a little bit more recently. I like to think that the Spirit's a little bit more amused by, I think, what we just did. You know, like enjoying it. Like, I think we should be getting rid of these toxic ideas for everybody. I mean, I sometimes, like, when I'm working with kids, I'm like, where does God exist, you know? And they always point to the clouds, but then I always try to remind them that God's in them and then everybody that they're around, you know? And I think that's one of the most important things I could do spiritually for a kid, I guess, is just get rid of this, like, outside old white guy concept, you know? And I've been telling kids that for a long time now, and I really like doing that. So what characteristics did we burn? Does anybody want to share, do you think, a characteristic that we just got rid of today?
Judgment.
Judgments, yes, exactly. As we judge this fake God.
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy, beautiful, Annie. Yep.
Vengeance.
Vengeance, yep, exactly, Martha.
Guilt.
Guilt. Shame, guilt, awesome. I love those words. I love getting rid of them. Anything else? Control, yes. I'm not a big fan of like the whole obsession with omnipotence and all-controlling and stuff. It almost tells me that we want something controlling everything because we're so uncomfortable with reality sometimes. It's funny.
Role models got very the role models. Like you think that you want to be like that person, and that person ends up being evil.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. Yeah, and I think that this God, you know, that we're hopefully getting rid of a little bit. We're getting rid of some of those ideas. Anybody else?
Redemptive violence.
Death through violence?
Redemptive violence.
Redemptive violence. Oh, that's a whole other sermon, Pastor Steve.
I know.
That's a good one for sure. Matthew?
Fear of judgment.
Fear of judgment. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, exactly. I don't think that's the best way to live with the Spirit, right? It's like this constant fear of hell, constant fear of if I sin, then God's going to do X, Y, Z to me. He's going to take away my family. I'm not a big fan of that mentality. All right, so awesome. Glad we did that. All right, so all right, I'm gonna write on the board.
So we want to like really emphasize that anything that we've done today or anything that you're deconstructing right now for yourself about God, you are not changing God. God is bigger than us. But it's also on the flip side of that, our relationship with God does change. And that's okay. And that's really where we want to be. Because a static relationship with a God that's basically just going to send you to hell as soon as you mess up is not really a good place to be. So when we have new experiences, when we meet new people, we have new conversations, whatever, our relationship with God can change. And that can be really scary for sure, but it's also really good. So we kind of have this image here of the word atheism, which usually if you're in a church, you're like, oh, atheism, that's bad. You need to believe in God. But what we want to think about is living on this line between the A and the theism. Because we're supposed to be constantly building up beliefs, which is the theism part, so developing new ideas about God and hearing new perspectives on God, and also tearing down the old, the A part, getting rid of the stuff that isn't serving us and isn't serving our relationship with God.
Right, think about the fact that you guys are now atheists of that God, right? I'm an atheist of that God. I'm the biggest atheist there is, but we're reconstructing, I think, something better and bigger and more real. Maybe not bigger, I don't even like that word. Smaller.
Bigger.
Who cares? The point is we're just getting rid of that idea.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to try to offer a couple ways of where you can maybe go from here. And it's going to look different for everyone because of how we relate to God differently. So one idea is thinking of God as energy instead of like a person. So you'll see we gave you a page that has about 6 quotes on it. They kind of look like images. So those are some for you to just kind of take home and think over as you're reflecting on this. But one that we want to highlight on there is from Peter Rollins that says, "Here, God is not approached as an object, or I would add an old white man in the sky, but that we must love, but as a mystery that's present in the very act of love itself." So whenever we do things, whenever we talk to people, whenever we relate to people, God is literally in that action, and we are a part of God in that moment, and sharing God with someone else, or with the earth, or even with ourselves. So we have 4 options that you can maybe do as we kind of wrap up here. So one is you can draw a new image of God on your paper if you want to. If you have a new idea of maybe what God looks like, or since we're kind of getting rid of an image of God altogether, maybe you just draw what's around you and the people around you and see where God is in that image and see where God is in the people around you. Another option is Michael's.
This is what I just show some people sometimes too, because I think spontaneity and creativity, John actually gave me that word creativity for God, and I really, really liked that one over the past few months. It's like this spontaneous energy, you know, it's not all this control and everything. It's just like, kind of like, I've been showing people this too, like when I'm getting rid of that old white man God, when I'm trying to draw a new picture of God, I just, don't even look, it's just like a bunch of color all over the place, creativity, you don't even know what you're doing. It's nothing tangible either, you don't actually see an image anywhere, it's just kind of like an attack on the paper. Whatever you want to do, it's just like kind of like feeling that energy of just being able to do whatever you want to do, because there's nothing wrong with that, it's this complete spontaneity.
You can have like a God app.
God app?
An app for God, yeah.
Like a phone app?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. There's an app for that now. There's an app for that now, thank you, Gwen. So yeah, that's an option 2.
See your God as the action and not the image or a person or a concept. Another option is maybe you just leave the rest of your page blank. We had another quote from Meister Eckhart that we didn't put on your paper, but he said, "I pray God to rid me of God," which is really what we're doing today. We're trying to get rid of the God that has been given to us and that locks us into one place and doesn't allow us to change and grow. And last is God is breath.
A couple of us have done this exercise at this church before. A lot of us have heard the indoctrinated idea that God's name is actually Yahweh. Has anybody ever heard that? Or Jehovah? Jehovah Witnesses? Those are the 4 letters. I'll write that on the next page, actually. Yud-hay-vuv-hay. Alright, so that's a Hebrew word. You're going to find it in the Torah or the Bible if you ever open it up. But it's very interesting. In America, everybody thinks that that's pronounceable, the yud-hay-vuv-hay, and they think it's called Yahweh or Jehovah, and there's a couple of other ways. But in Israel, I lived there for 5 months, I learned there that there's no way to say this word whatsoever, and it's so holy that I actually technically shouldn't have even written it on the paper right now, because they'd actually have to burn it and do like this whole ritual with it. But anyway, the point with this Yahweh thing, there's one idea that we've also heard from Richard Rohr. Andy knows about it, Martha knows about it, and a couple of others that I've probably talked to over the past year or so. It's the idea that this is just breath. So the first part is breathing in, and the second part is breathing out. So we're going to do 3 breaths like that right now. All right, let's breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay. So on paper, like we said, you can either leave it blank, maybe just use some breaths, or you can do a spontaneous kind of picture, or just draw maybe what's in front of you, because the Spirit is found in each and every one of these people. It's not this object, it's out in the sky, it's found in the act of love. So I think right now we're participating in the Spirit, we're participating in God, as opposed to being this outside, all-controlling, all-knowing figure. So I'll give you about a minute for that.